Now there's a very good reason I'm doing this episode on the 27th. It's because exactly 5 years ago, on October 27th, 2015, I posted my reaction video to it. Wow. 5 years ago. Shit.
My little pony, my little pony.
I've talked about Friendship is Magic a bunch of times. It's pretty much the show I've talked about the most. And I wanted to talk about it at least one more time before doing This Kills Me. Now this show had 2 Halloween episodes, or more appropriately, Nightmare Night episodes. I really like Luna Eclipse, but it's more an excuse to rehabilitate Luna into society. The only thing I want to bring up is this.
Howdy, Spike. Hey, Twilight. Nice costume.
You had this planned from the beginning, didn't you? The episode we'll be looking at is from Season 5, called Scaremaster, and it's much more about immersing the viewer in the holiday. My feelings on this episode kept fluctuating. When I first saw it, I liked it, then I rewatched it and found it kind of lacking, and then I watched it again and I may have liked it more than I did the first time. So I'm not sure how I'll feel this time. This is the Season 5 episode, Scaremaster. It begins with Fluttershy locking down her house as she prepares for a night inside with her animal friends.
And you'll alert me if anything scary comes close to the cottage? Oh, who am I kidding? When something scary comes close to the cottage.
This is probably the weakest part of the episode. Fluttershy has regressed to Season 1 levels. Made even more apparent when Angel, still 4 seasons away from being even remotely likable, wants some carrots, forcing Fluttershy to go outside.
Or maybe some hay? But that means I'll need to go out on Nightmare Night.
So going up against a dragon, chaos spirit that you later manage to befriend, shape-shifting bugs, a king that's the manifestation of darkness, an out-of-control forest, a centaur that can take magic from ponies, and the actual literal nightmares from all the residents of town, you can't handle the night where ponies dress up.
Baby steps, every pony. Baby steps.
Oh, shut up. So she goes out and is pretty much scared by everything, including spiders. You have a spider friend.
Nightmare Night, what a fright! Give me something sweet to bite!
Yeah, add that to the list of scary faces I've seen this month. She talks with Granny Smith, who last Nightmare Night was upset she had to be out so late, but now seems to be really into this. You know what, good for her. When you've been through the shit Ponyville has been through over the year, best to live life to the fullest. Although she's scared Fluttershy, and in this fandom that means you must die.
God, Granny Smith's a bitch!
So she heads to Twilight's castle where she comes across a 2-headed spike, which when I first saw this, took me a little too long to realize that's what it was.
He's going as a Spike, dressed as a slightly larger Spike.
And Spike, being best #1 assistant, convinces Fluttershy to go out with her friends.
And then it got very, very quiet. And suddenly they realized the balloons had never been inflated!
Ah!
Did I ever tell you about the night that the mannequin came to life and haunted all the costumes? What happened? I just told you, darling. A mannequin came to life, haunted all the costumes.
This is rated TV-Y, right? So Fluttershy does bring up that she's gotten over stuff like stage fright by facing her fears, and decides to go out with the others. And I like that while she's up for it, they realize she may not be willing to do everything.
Going through my family's corn maze.
Oh, right. The maze.
Only if you're up for it.
Also, who knew the CMC were such little shits to TP Rarity's tree? Also, interesting note here, even though this episode premiered on Halloween in the US, it actually was released on iTunes a month before, on September 21st. Which means some people saw this episode before Crusaders of the Lost Mark. So good thing they're all wearing costumes that cover their flanks, otherwise that would have been a huge spoiler. So Rarity tries to help Fluttershy pick out a costume.
No. Headless pony? No. Vampire fruit bat? Definitely no.
Foreshadowing. And again, being a good friend, she realizes that Fluttershy may not want to dress up as something scary, so suggests formal wear.
What if we encounter something terrifying and need to get away quickly? All those layers could slow me down, or worse, make me trip.
Alright, that's a little far-fetched, but I'm willing to accept it. Safety is important after all. Also, is she supposed to be a sea pony? I wonder how Queen Novo feels about that. Is that technically cultural appropriation? So she picks just a simple black dress, and we get to see every pony else's costumes. 80s roller girl, royal guard, an astronaut, and a lion. Okay, not only is Applejack the Lion one of the most adorable things I've ever seen, but in Luna Eclipse she was the Scarecrow. What the hell do these shows have against the Tin Man?
No heart.
Also, pony astronauts exist? This is a world where the ruler can send ponies to the moon just for stepping out of line. Okay, Luna, I know you're okay with Nightmare Night, but if I were in charge, I'd outlaw that game.
Well, it's just that if I'm blindfolded and some pony were to leap out in front of me, I'd never have the chance to defend myself.
You have a bunch of friends surrounding you, 2 of them have magic. But then Pinky brings out the candy and she even has a problem with that.
What if when I'm eating one of these chewy taffies, my mouth becomes glued shut and I can't scream for help?
Okay, look, I get facing dangerous things doesn't automatically get rid of fear. If I survived a plane crash, I probably still wouldn't want to ride a big roller coaster. But this goes beyond what she was even in Season 1. To be fair, she realizes how much she's ruining the others' fun, but then Twilight comes up with an idea for her to scare them. That way, they all have fun. I agree. So she tells them to meet her at her college in an hour, and they do. So, what hauntings does she have planned for them?
Welcome to Fluttershy's tea party.
Someone here has been murdered.
Go on, pass the sugar. Oh no, there is none.
So scary.
Rarity, put your coat on.
Why would I do that?
You need to cover up because no one has complimented your dress.
Actually, that probably would be the scariest thing to Rarity.
And ask your best friend to pass the cucumber sandwiches.
Huh? I can't. There's no pony there.
That's right, because she didn't care to show up.
You know, I can see the logic here. With someone with a bit of social anxiety, the thought of someone not showing up to something you put a lot of thought into scares me as much as any monster.
That smile.
Also reference to something I've never seen. So yeah, this haunted tea party is a bit of a bust, but she tried, and they all recognize that. So they all leave, and Fluttershy, feeling she could have done better, asks Angel for help.
I don't suppose you have any ideas how I could do that?
Yeah, they're all gonna die. So the rest of the group, as well as Spike, heads for the corn maze where they meet...
BoJack?
It is a pretty creative corn maze, and I love this part. Yup. You tried, Big Mac, and that's the important thing. But some unexpected frights make their way in. Hey, it's Derpius, Princess Twilight. That's adorable. They fall down a hole.
Whoa, this hole is huge. And I'm like, falling.
And Applejack is freaking out because she was never made aware of this. Thankfully, they find Granny.
Granny?
And now Applejack is traumatized for life. So they realize Granny and Big Mac are not behind this. I just love that Apple Bloom is also dressed as a lion. She really idolizes her big sister, almost as much as Scoot idolizes her surrogate sister. Then the creature from the Black Lagoon shows up and they run before getting caught in a giant web. After a bit too long, Twilight remembers she can teleport. They make it outside just in time to see... And all the fans rejoice. But of course it's all an act, as Fluttershy sees she's really scared of friends. She did it with the help of her animal friends, which admittedly I didn't see coming when I first saw it. Probably should have, given the fact that the big monster walks exactly like Harry the Bear.
I thought it was real. Like, that she just made it a new friend.
So even though her friends enjoyed her prank and she was even pretty good at it, she admits she didn't really like doing it that much.
You all may love Nightmare Night, and I may be good at being a part of it, but it's no fun for me to see my friends feel like they're in danger. They really don't like it. It's just not my cup of tea.
That's a really good lesson. Just because you try something you're scared of doesn't mean you'll like it, and that's okay. I used to be afraid of haunted houses. Now I just don't like them because they're kind of annoying. Just a bunch of loud sound effects and jump scares. And so Fluttershy decides to enjoy the rest of Nightmare Night in her cottage with her animal friends.
Now this is what I call a perfect Nightmare Night.
So, yeah, despite the problems, I really like this episode. Its biggest problem is Fluttershy being regressed back to not even season 1, she was never this bad. But besides that, I like everything else. The story is paced well, it's pretty funny, and the message about trying something but coming out not liking it is a pretty good one that I don't see very often. So as an episode on its own, it's pretty solid if flawed. Now as a Halloween or Nightmare Night episode, it is fantastic. The lighting is dark, the music is great, the atmosphere is chilling for something made for younger children, and it has damn near everything you would want from Halloween. Candy, games, costumes, haunted attractions, trying to scare each other. In terms of Halloween, this ranks right up there with the best I've covered this month. I give the episode a 7 out of 10 and the Halloween factor a 9. If you want a better written episode that's kinda spooky, both Castlemania and Bats are great, but for Halloween, can't get much better than this. But before I go, let me just say this. This show ended about a year ago, and at the time, a lot of fans were saying this was the end of the fandom, but not only has there been more content with these characters, but the fan base is still alive and well, creating music, art, animations, reviews, and fan fictions. And they're still doing meetups. Even a pandemic couldn't stop cons from happening. So no, the fandom isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Well, tomorrow we'll look at a show that's one of my childhood favorites that somehow I've never talked about before. See you then.